Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for today's episode of Trade the Chain. It is March 12th. It is Friday, and guess what? Ryan's back.
Hey!
I know we got a lot of comments thinking he got fired, hit by a garbage truck, ran away from home, but he is back. I actually enjoyed a chili Philly cheesesteak last night with Ryan in person.
In New York, of all places.
In New
I
York.
went from Philly to New York to have a cheesesteak. Who does that?
Because Philly cheesesteaks are so damn good. But yeah, listen, today is Friday. We're capping off what's been not a disappointing week. So I always like, bookending it on that. We're going to run through the big boards as well as Monty this morning had a call on VGX, and we're going to go through that with him, as well as see what's happening on the Cardano ADA charts, because for some wild reason, I really don't understand why this ticker is not at $10, $11 already, with all the news that's gone on over the last 6-8 months. But before we do all that, I go to Ryan for the legal talk.
Thanks, Alex. It's great to be back. This is just a reminder that all content provided by Trade the Chain is strictly for educational purposes only. This is not investment advice. Do not listen to any of us at all. Trade the Chain is brought to you by TradeTheChain.com, a 24/7 global community of traders of all ages, all abilities, all skill levels, and all knowledge levels, all using AI-driven sentiment indicators and actionable alerts to help them beat the market and trade like a crypto insider. If you haven't checked out TradeTheChain.com yet, please do and sign up for a 14-day trial. We'd love to have you. Neutral today. Some bullish, though.
Swissborg was very bullish earlier.
Well, Swissborg up 50% from last week. I mean, the folks over there knocking it out. Good stuff. I think a lot had to do with Alex going on Rob's show the other day too. I mean, nothing but positive sentiment coming from there. I know that we're dropping our Cyrus Swissborg episode, so yeah, good for them.
Absolutely, yeah.
And moving over to marketrebellion.com/crypto. This is Monty and myself and our community, and with us you get exclusive access to trade ideas, our macro portfolio allocations, a pro charting platform, a trading education curriculum, and an elite community of traders all throughout the world, and much more. If you're serious about trading crypto, this is the service that gives you everything you need all in one place. You can start your first month trial for just $1 at marketrebellion.com/crypto. We have a mobile app as well for Apple users. So we definitely appreciate that, guys. Our community is growing as well. Any starting words before we get into the big boards here?
I have one. I always have one. One thing that we are going to do next week is Tuesday. This will be Tuesday's episode. Is we are going to do a walkthrough of each of our 4 portfolios that we have in crypto. So if you are sitting there wondering, well, what are these weirdos are doing? What do they invest in? Or, they talk a lot of crypto, but what does their portfolios look like? We're going to go through each of our portfolios. We're going to break down our allocations. We're going to break down, where we want the price to be, give you predictions, and justify what each of our holdings are. So stay tuned for that on Tuesday.
Alex is also going to be showing his Voyager balance. So that's
yes.
I will say this. I will say this now to give it to you. Obviously, people have portfolios all over the place. My Voyager account is currently 75% VGX and 25% something else. What do you guys think it is? Let us know. Don't say it. Drop in the comments.
I'm not still all cash, by the way. That was temporary.
Well, I'm sure we'll get to that later. Starting off with Bitcoin here. We had a little bit of a retrace this morning, whether that be from profit taking or from the news that we had coming out of Binance and the CFTC looking into them and investigating them for potential breaking the laws of US citizens using their exchange internationally by accessing it with a VPN. But ever since then, we've bounced off that middle Williams alligator moving average and are now testing that recent high of roughly 58.5. That's the ultimate high on this 4-hour trend. And it looks like we're forming some very nice support and beginning another parabolic uptrend on the 4-hour, because when we get into these elevation periods, I guess you could call them, we always bounce off this kind of red moving average here, and it acts as sufficient support until obviously it doesn't, and we get kind of a mild correction phase. It looks to me as if we are still relatively early on this new uptrend in which all of the moving averages are looking relatively parallel. They're looking very bullish next to one another. And we're getting tighter and tighter when we get closer to this apex on that all-time high ultimately. So this is looking very bullish with a consolidation right below all-time highs after having that negative news. It looks like the trend is building momentum to ultimately retest this level, break above, but maybe back test this 58.5 level, form resistance, or excuse me, form support before even climbing higher to possibly 90K and those levels as we continue the bull market. But this is very bullish in my opinion. Monty and I were talking last time on Trade the Chain about trading an asset when it's reaching an all-time high. And what I like to do is buy that breakout on the all-time high, because a lot of people think it looks too expensive, but that's like price discovery territory. That's where people really want to step in and push that thing to higher breakout levels. So it's pretty bullish in my book. But yeah, let me pass it back.
Yeah, CJ, I think that's pretty much the dilemma that a lot of people are facing right now, right? Is like, you don't want to buy an asset at an all-time high, but also at the same time, it feels like we're sort of teetering on the brink of breaking out. So I'm largely in agreement with you. I just want to quickly take a look at some ranges I'm looking at here. So this is kind of what I'm predicting going forward. I mean, we've talked a lot about how the weekend can lead to some real volatility, and I think that's what we're going to see this weekend. And I think there's two real options, and I think they're both actually still bullish in the long term for Bitcoin. So one, if we do get rejected once again here at this all-time high of 58.4, we'll probably retest this level of 54K. We didn't quite retest this level here, which was actually encouraging. So we may find support again at 55K, or even put in a higher low at 56K, which would ultimately be very encouraging for us to ultimately break the all-time high and move up. What I would like to see is this weekend for us to just flush break all the way through to 62K. The reason I'm highlighting 62K is because of what CJ's pointed out many times on here is the weekly Fibonacci resistance level here. There's really no other support or resistance beyond this level to go off of. So I think that's kind of a reasonable expectation. That'd be a very nice run up to 62K, but consolidation in this range would be very nice to start next week. So we're at an important crossroads here. I think it's setting up nicely for bullish momentum to break us through to the all-time high. So we could get some historic price action this weekend. And if we do, I may consider taking some profits at 62K. But that's all contingent on what the trend is looking like at that time, what sort of candle we're building on when we get there. But overall, the technicals look good. There's no reason fundamentally to be bearish. So if you believe that Bitcoin has the momentum to break the all-time high this weekend, I think it's a safe bet to get in now and then take some profit potentially on Monday morning when this trend's exhausted, or even Sunday before the market typically sells off. So a lot of ways to play the market this weekend, and it should be an interesting one.
Interesting. Yeah. Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
It's funny. We've talked about this before, and it's just becoming increasingly apparent and obvious. MicroStrategy bought more Bitcoin today. No one
boy.
cares. No one's talking about it. It's not affecting the market at all. I'm the only one talking about it. I
Ryan's
haven't even seen
talking
people talking
about
about it on Twitter, right? We have a bunch of ETF applications that are in. Grayscale's hiring, 9 people for an ETF team because they're expecting a Bitcoin ETF to be approved in the near future. Do you guys, in the short term, there could be some volatility and you think 62K is a good spot for Bitcoin to end up next? With all these developments going on in terms of filings and what Grayscale is doing, one would think they have a view into the market that we might not. Do you still think that the price targets we discussed, last week for Bitcoin for end of the year, do you still think that they're possible or reasonable?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're only in March, and I think this year there's going to be a lot of speculation on Bitcoin when once we do break this all-time high and enter another mode of price discovery. Yeah, I think those expectations of 100K to 150K are still very much realistic.
Yeah, and like this is the type of thing you would expect during this trajectory. You would expect Goldman Sachs to reopen up their crypto trading desk. You would expect these ETF products to be re-implemented and pursued. So no, it's good to see. But
it's good narratives, right? I mean, you want to try to do it in the bull trend, and carry that momentum to get things done, whether it's passing new products or exasperating good news further. So I think it only helps the crypto community and the marketplace. But Ryan, I mean, why wait till the end? You brought up ETFs. You got some. Let's do a quick news piece before we hit the other altcoin charts we're going to do.
Yeah, sure. Earlier
It's close to your heart.
Close to my heart, very. They're a client of mine, actually, that I work with. Earlier today, KKM Financial filed an application for the Valkyrie Bitcoin Income Balance Sheet ETF. And that's live on Edgar right now. You can see that. There's a handful of news articles that are going to be coming out at some point today about that. But ultimately, what their methodology here is, they'll allocate a certain percentage directly to Bitcoin. And then they'll have companies that hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet already. And then companies they believe through research from Valkyrie Investments will invest in Bitcoin on their balance sheet in the near future. So we had JP Morgan put out their debt instrument, or announce their debt instrument, earlier this week, I think, right? Or was it late last week? All the days blend
Last
together.
week, yeah, everything's running together.
Yeah,
I had a spa week. I don't know.
So that's a debt instrument, whereas this would be a publicly traded ETF, right? So there's a big difference between the two. And I mean, this is unique. There isn't really anything out there that takes this approach to investing in crypto. And, of course, MicroStrategy is likely to be one of the holdings there. But I think, this is a really cool product that if and when it's approved, I think could make a big splash. But that remains to be seen.
Listen, got smart cats behind it too, right? You got Steve McClurg, two friends of ours. Steve McClurg, former BlackRock guy, one of the smartest Guggenheim guy. Sorry, strike and rephrase. Former Guggenheim guy. Always enjoy talking to him. We actually did an episode with him and Leah, his partner, previous in the year. And then Leah Wald, who I just love talking to and would have on the show every day, just about, with the exception that she lives in Asia and the time difference, but we got to get her back on, Steve, as well. And Leah is one of the co-authors of Hyperwave book. So, I mean, two really, really smart folks doing this filing, and good for them, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're really excited about it. And I'm excited to see, how it goes over the next, over the review period, and see where we're at once we get through that.
Cool. Well, let's move on now to a call Monty had. And actually, I'm not even sure. Did you guys talk about this in your morning video?
Yes. Yeah. This was one that I highlighted as my pick of the day this morning. So.
Well, just so everybody knows, that video, we mentioned it yesterday, the day before, or whenever we did, we try to mention it all the time. It is now linked in our descriptions below. Check it out. It's the Daily Crypto Bite that Monty, CJ, and John are putting out Monday through Friday each morning. And it's going to highlight things like what Monty's about to go into, which is one of our favorite tickers to talk about of all time that we don't even get paid for promoting. We don't take any money for anything. VGX, go ahead, Monty.
Yes, VGX has been one of the more interesting looking charts over the past month. I mean, it's had an absolutely insane run up to $7. We've talked extensively about that so far in 2021, and I know the community loves this asset, but the 4-hour chart to me has been looking like one of the more unique charts in the space right now, and it's really not correlated with anything else in the space or any other really traditional market other than maybe Voyager stock. But I think it's interesting to note. At first, we talked about this triple top formation, but as you can see, it started to really compress here. So one thing I pointed out last night was the potential for a breakdown below this level of $5.40, because of the fact that each time we bounced off this level here, $5.40, the swing high was not as significant as it was in the previous uptrend. So we started to really compress here, which is typically indicative of a breakdown. And I've been looking to increase my VGX holdings for a while because I did take some profit here. And when I took profit, I did it with the goal of eventually getting back in. And when we were kind of shooting up here, I was getting worried that I wasn't going to get another chance to buy below my exit point. But when I saw this breakdown below $5.40, I immediately set the goal of entering between $5 flat and $5.10. And fortunately, this morning, right after the daily crypto bite, I was able to get filled on that. And since then, price has gone up. As you can see, it went all the way up to about $5.80, but has since gone back down to $5.40. I still think this trend is set to reverse and possibly retest this level. So I still like this trade. But just technically speaking, this 9 is very indicative of a reversal, in my opinion. And that in confluence with the psychological level of $5 and all the things we know Voyager is doing fundamentally with their interest rates increasing and the utility that they're bringing back to the Voyager token itself, $5, anywhere between $5 and $5.50 seems like a great buy for VGX, in my opinion. So this is my pick. And yeah, I think I'm back on board the VGX train.
Well, one of the things I want to say is that is one of the most interesting charts that I've ever actually seen. And if you zoomed out a little bit, you see that wave action. It's amazing. I don't know if you guys have experienced that before, but we had the triple top. Now we have those compressed tops, and it looks like, hey, who knows? Maybe we'll get a triple mini me top. Who knows? That might even be a new pattern name right there. The thing with VGX that I think people are going to want to know are what are your thoughts, CJ and Monty, from a price action if we have a bearish momentum? Where do you think it'll go? And if we have a bullish momentum, you mentioned testing $7 again, so I'm going to assume that's your thing. But CJ and Monty, what are your lows and highs in the short term and some time periods that you think that might happen?
Yeah, I want to share my view because it is a bit different than Monty's. One of the few times I think we've actually slightly disagreed. I own quite a bit of VGX. It's my largest holding. And so therefore, I am biased when it comes to how I emotionally interpret this market. And I don't believe that you're a great trader until you learn how to counter trade yourself. So that means essentially when I'm feeling the feeling of max fear or max pain, we're probably close to a bottom. So just keep that in mind before I go into the analysis, kind of as an outsider. So if you've been in VGX, you'll know that all of this price action happened in a very, very quick period of time. Even in the beginning of January, we were not even above 20 cents. We were at about 15 cents. We slowly creeped up. and then went up over 5,000% in less than 2 or 3 months. That is quite a feat for anything, regardless of how much fundamental value it has. And there were some individuals, one specific individual I knew who had been in VGX since 1 cent and sold all of his coins, about 350,000 at $6.50 to $7. And so it's very difficult for price to go above that level when you have those early investors or those people who are essentially like private equity holders. Anyone who got in below $1, it's basically private equity at that point, because we just don't see moves like this in traditional markets. But a ton of people are taking profit at that $7 level, and the trend is just really tired. Now, like I said, maybe I'm a little over fearful because I have a very large position in this asset, but I feel like there was just so many bad longs of people who missed the initial move, who then came in and chased the rally at $5, $6, $7. And essentially, each time we fall back to this like $5 level, we buy up again, but we're not having the ability to break through that last aspect of resistance. And what we're doing ever since then is just creating higher lows, or excuse me, lower highs, bearish lower highs. We just haven't had the momentum to continue going upward, even after hitting 3 or 4 of these TD sequential 9s. So what I'm thinking that this chart may end up looking like, if we continue the bull market, is something like Chainlink, back after it had its first really large run up and then corrected hard, consolidated and didn't do much of anything for about 6 months, and then obviously now has gone absolutely parabolic. So yeah, sure, I could be wrong. I want VGX to go up like more than anyone, but I'm concerned here because I don't know where the new buyers are going to come from. We might, if we continue to go down past $5, there's really nothing until $4.50 or $4, which could easily drop quite a bit. And so we may reach that one leg down of capitulation, do nothing for months, and then once a lot of retail flow comes in, if Bitcoin goes over 6 figures, then we may see a lot of capital flow into altcoins like VGX. But this thing is just so tired after it's gone up 5,000%. There's so many people long up here at $5 who are at risk of capitulating if we go below $5. So I've just got a lot of fear when it comes to that particular situation. But yeah,
let me ask you this: Are you saying that maybe this is a profit-taking point for folks like us, and then wait for a buyback in that might last months? Because if we don't do that, we're just going to feel our own pain for a bunch of months before hitting that, soaring skies again.
Yeah. I think that is probably the likely case, because it's not like Voyager and Bitcoin are going up in tandem.
No.
Quite the opposite. If I go to the Voyager Bitcoin chart here, that's just a very, very obvious top. And so one thing that Binance did on the BTC and BQX pair, like very near the top, and I'm not saying they initiated this or this caused the crash or anything, but they instituted shorting and 3x leverage on that shorting right at the top. And so what that allows people to do is, you look at this asset, you say, oh, it's just gone up 5,000%. I don't care if there's a legitimate business behind it or if it's doing well. This is just a market where things get way over ahead of themselves. And it looks like a lot of those international traders went short based on this order pair and have drove price down severely. Now, as you can see, we're hitting this 50-period moving average, which is very nice. And me having a lot of fear, that's probably a sign that we're close to the bottom. But then again,
well, hold on. Now you're giving me mixed signals. One hand you're saying you feel like we're closing in at the bottom. The next minute, you're saying that we could have that drop down. and stay sideways for a couple
CJ's
months.
the voice of all of us. He's our inner fears coming out. Like, are we at the bottom?
No,
No, we're gonna just free fall.
No,
We're
he
gonna
actually
circle
is
the drain
scaring
again.
me. Like that.
DJ's
Yeah.
freaking me out. Not gonna
I'm
lie.
so-
I mean, we
I'm so
were
happy
gonna go,
I went back into VGX, instead of just staying in cash. This is great. I'm gonna get lots of sleep tonight.
So let me be more specific because I don't want to be all over the place for you guys. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't think that will happen, but it's a grave concern. And the reason why I think it might not happen is because when, I get this fearful, or when, individuals trading get a certain collective fearfulness, that's typically the bottom because no one wants to step in and buy. But I'm very concerned about this leg down if Voyager is not able to rally in tandem with Bitcoin. Because if there's no attractiveness to the Asian market and the international market for VGX, then you're just not going to see that volume coming in.
what would you say as far what support level needs to be broken before it gets scary?
$5, right?
You would say $5, so not $4.50. You're saying $5. It breaks $5 support. Things are going to be scary for the next dollar or so down.
Yes. Yes. I mean, let's just look, like, it's as simple as the Chainlink chart. Let me bring it up just one more time for you guys.
As everybody looks to their Voyager account.
And this is not a bad chart, right? But like, this interim pain right here is where we might be in for. But then again, like, the hope that I have, and you don't want to be hoping when you're trading, okay? The hope that I have is that this new token swap, once 7% interest is implemented, will garner a lot more attention and excitement around the asset and potentially push it to new highs. I don't want to hope,
I'm reaching out to Steve Ehrlich today. I'm going to ask him if he'll come on and kind of give some definitive timelines for what's happening, because there are a lot of people that put in the comments and hit us out saying, hey, when is this going to happen, right? We all feel like the news cycle with Voyager has kind of stagnated, and that's kind of the price drop, right there. People like, what's coming out next? Let's hammer them. Let's see if we can get this token swap pinned down. Damn it!
You can't hammer them. The asset just went up 5,000%. I mean,
I know,
it wouldn't even matter if he cured cancer.
CJ, we're being greedy. All right, folks, we have to run today. I was gonna hit Cardano, ticker ADA. We're gonna do that Monday because I really do want to just spend a few good moments with that, where I believe Cardano, I feel it should be 10, 11 bucks right now. So we're going to discuss that Monday. VGX, watch for it. Let's see what happens between what Monty and CJ had to say. Other than that, it's Friday. Have a great weekend. Hang on to your handlebars, and we will see all of you folks. Don't forget to smash the like button before you leave on Monday. Take it easy, guys.
Bye, everyone.